Do you know that there's a species of ant that produces another species of ant? This is about to get real complicated, so bear with me. This is Mesor ibericus, the common name the Iberian harvester ant. They're a type of harvester ant that is found all throughout Europe, but mostly in the Iberian Peninsula. Like other types of harvester ants, they feed pretty much entirely on different types of grains that they harvest and bring back to their nest. This is Mesor structor, another type of harvester ant found in the Iberian Peninsula, and as far as I'm aware, it doesn't actually have a common name. This is a different species from the Mesor ibericus that I just talked about. However, the lifestyle is rather similar since they are both harvester ants in the Iberian Peninsula. However, this is important, they are two different species. Going back to Mesor ibericus, scientists studying Iberian harvester ants in general, like all of the other species on the Iberian Peninsula, have had a hard time because they have very weird genetics. Previously, it was thought that there was just a lot of hybridization going on between the various harvester ant species, but in reality, it is a lot more complicated than that. As far as I'm aware, the majority of Mesor structor harvester ant colonies reproduce normally. These guys aren't where it gets complicated. A very recent study in 2025 shows that these guys, the Mesor ibericus, exhibit xenoparity, or sperm parasitism. Now, the queen of Mesor ibericus can, on her own, produce male offspring by mating with males of Mesor ibericus, so male and female Mesor ibericus can create male Mesor ibericus. Also, they can produce queens Mesor ibericus, so the male and female of this species can produce true males and queens. However, what they cannot make are the female worker ants. And ant colonies need the workers, which are, in this case, all female, but they cannot make the worker caste with their own species. So they have to outsource that by mating with males from the Mesor structor. Now, how does one do this? Well, it's complicated. So, first of all, the queen and the colony as a whole of Mesor ibericus has to obtain an outside male of Mesor structor. So they just go find a male ant of this species, bring it back to the colony to mate with the queen of the Mesor ibericus. That happens, and then the queen can produce the hybrid worker females that have the DNA of both the Mesor structor and Mesor ibericus. However, that is not always the most efficient, having to go find a new male to essentially, I guess, kidnap or coerce into coming to this colony every time you need female workers. So, once the original DNA has been obtained, that's when it gets even more complicated. The other method is the xenoparity that I already previously mentioned, where the female queen Mesor ibericus will just produce eggs with only DNA from the Mesor structor. All of the DNA from the egg that the queen produces, so the Mesor ibericus, that DNA is just gone, and only the DNA from the Mesor structor is produced, and that results in male, purely Mesor structor ants produced. So this gets around the fact of having to go find a new male Mesor structor to mate with when you can just produce your own and then mate with them to produce the hybrid workers. Is that complicated enough? So let's break this down into a summary. Male and female Mesor structor. They create more male and female Mesor structor. The queens, the males, and the workers. That's fine. They're so very simple. Thank you for that. Male and female Mesor ibericus. They can create female queens or male Mesor ibericus, but they cannot create female workers. So the female Mesor ibericus and a male Mesor structure will mate to create the hybrid workers, or the female will produce eggs that only have the DNA from the Mesor structor to create male Mesor structor ants, and then mate with them to create the female hybrid workers. There we go. That is so complicated.